guys, we're back talking some more Peacemaker on the channel with episode 6. Last week's episode 5, was my personal favorite. I think it was a great episode all around, from the mission itself and that epic cliffhanger we had with Adebayo finding out that Myrn is a butterfly. In a surprising twist, not only is Myrn a good butterfly who's trying to take out all the bad ones with the team, most of the team already knew he was a butterfly. Peacemaker and Vigilante don't know, but it just goes to show you that this very secret organization still has some secrets they don't want to reveal to everyone. As episodes of the series progress, I think the show gets better and better almost every week. I do think episode 5 is a little bit better, but even still, all of the stuff in this episode is fantastic. The character arcs, the story, everything in it feels like we're ramping up to a wild last 2 episodes with many of the twists and turns that are taking shape in episode 6. After the opening episode where Peacemaker talks to Jamil, I never thought we would ever see him again, but we get a return of the character as Peacemaker talks to all these kids in a classroom, which just that alone is a recipe for disaster and gets worse the longer it goes on. We've previously seen that Peacemaker likes to kind of tell ridiculous tales about members of the Justice League, and it continues again in the episode when the kids ask him about the Justice League members, and once they start poking holes in the stories, that's when it gets really intense, when he starts making fun of the kids. I mean, Peacemaker is not exactly a kid-friendly hero, so I think that makes it all the more great that he's actually talking to all these kids. Unfortunately for practically everyone in this series, Peacemaker's dad does inevitably get freed from prison after they tried to frame him for everything. Much like pretty much everybody in the series, he wants to get revenge on Peacemaker, but it makes it more messed up because it's his dad, you know? I mean, his dad's a terrible person. The only reason I'm kind of excited about this stuff, though, is actually seeing him. He's putting on the white dragon suit once again, and that suit is so awesome looking. It's great to see Robert Patrick actually in the costume, and it's very exciting that he's going to raise some hell in the suit. I feel bad for Peacemaker because pretty much everybody in this show wants to kill him, but I think so far that's probably the most messed up person to try and kill him, though, is his own dad after he tried to vouch for him. As if that event on the horizon wasn't already bad enough. Since his dad was freed from the crime, that means the cops are gonna go after Peacemaker and swarm his house. Before all that happens, though, we get this very goofy section where him and Vigilante try and talk to the butterfly Golf since it starts making peace symbols, which in retrospect, they probably would have been better off just killing the butterfly because of all the problems that transpire after this segment in the episode. That's not even factoring in that Golf is the leader of the butterflies. But it's still made for a very funny scene where Peacemaker and Vigilante try and ask this butterfly questions. Vigilante can't understand that it's just yes or no questions, and he asks the most random shit possible. This entire sequence of the episode is actually very tense, with Peacemaker and Vigilante trying to evade capture as the police are raiding the place. We're going from rooftop to rooftop, tree to tree to try to avoid being caught, and the police actually find that journal that Adebayo planted, which we'll come back to later on. The most shocking part of this scene, though, is Vigilante falling out of the tree, and the glass jar holding the butterfly actually breaks, and it goes into Sophie, so Sophie is now controlled by the Golf butterfly. We had a little bit of an idea what it looks like when a person is overtaken by a butterfly with that PowerPoint presentation last week, but I didn't realize just how gross, horrifying, and bloody it is when it actually happens on screen. Reminded me a lot of a previous James Gunn film, Slither, because of just how gross it looked. It felt like a perfect homage to me, at least. If you haven't seen Slither, by the way, I do recommend it. It's a really messed up, gross horror film. I have to really commend this show for just how great the camera work is, because that's something that you don't really see in a lot of streaming shows, but I think so many shots in this series is excellent, especially in this episode in particular. All the dynamic camera work here when Peacemaker and Vigilante are being chased through the woods by police, that stuff was awesome, especially when Eagly gets on the action taking out people before Locke saves them. With Golf now taking over Soph's body, there's a lot of awkward comedic elements that come from that, the main one being the awkward delivery and the personality that she has now, but I think my favorite part of all of this is the fact that she never wipes the blood off her face. She's just covered in blood for the entire rest of the episode, even when she's having conversations with people like Fitzgibbon. And the fact that he's not really that concerned about it is kind of troubling and ends up being his downfall inevitably. Thanks to the massive swarm of butterflies that come in with Golf and they completely overrun the police station. It's gorgeous looking, mind you, but horrifying watching them take over all of the bodies of everyone in there. The cops, the prisoners, even Fitzgibbon and Locke. All of them are butterflies now. If I'm being honest, all of those characters weren't particularly that interesting to me. I just never really liked that subplot anyways. So at least this gives them something a little bit more interesting to do with the last couple episodes. Between the butterfly uprising and the white dragon, we're really running out of time here to track down the source for this butterfly stuff on this ranch. We haven't really had too many scenes of Peacemaker and Harcourt together to try and build up any sort of romance, but I still think the moments between them in this episode are pretty sweet and how they build build rapport with one another. And just seeing how Peacemaker opens up to her towards the end, where they're kind of on a first name basis now. And that entire scene afterwards where Peacemaker plays Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue on the piano, I thought that was a very sweet moment and kind of a sort of calm before the storm, where before everything gets messed up at the end of the episode with the cliffhanger. Because as if things couldn't get potentially any worse for Peacemaker and the gang, we see on the TV the entire butterfly-filled police station talking about the diary that frames Peacemaker for everything that Adebayo planted. So now everyone is trying to capture Peacemaker, whether dead or alive, I'm assuming, because that's the police, it's the butterflies in general, it's the White Dragon. Everybody's coming after Peacemaker in these last 2 episodes, and I'm nervous for him a little bit because there's so many different people trying to take him out, and they're also trying to go and deal with the butterfly problem themselves. A lot of stuff is at stake here, and things are just getting crazier and crazier every episode. So let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think of this new episode of Peacemaker, episode 6? Do you like the episode, not like the episode? What do you think about all the stuff going forward? Share any thoughts or theories you may have on where we're going to go with everything and the characters in the next 2 episodes, because we don't have too many episodes of this series left. I'm actually kind of upset about it because I'm liking the show so much. Thank you guys as always checking out my Peacemaker reviews. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to leave a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you update my reviews, introductions, unboxings, and more on the channel. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.